evening all. Welcome to our missionary service. We are going to begin this evening by singing number 36 from this youth book. I was once a sinner, but I came, pardon to receive from my Lord. This was freely given, and I found that he always kept his word. There's a new name written down in glory, and it's mine, oh yes, it's mine. And the white-robed angels sing the story, a sinner has come home. And at the end of this song, I ask our Sister Katie to pray for this session. Let's stand.
From
but Blessed Assurance, Jesus is mine. And at the last verse, we start for our Bible lesson, which is taken from Psalm 150, and it will be read by our sister Anna Wellington.
Person is the sound of the trumpet. Person is the psaltery and harp. Person is the tremble and dance. Person is the string instruments and organs. Person upon the loud cymbals. Person upon the high sounding cymbals. Let everything that hath breath praise the Lord. Praise ye the Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. The notices are as follows. On Wednesday evening at 7:50, we will meet again for our roll call and covenant service. Wednesday evening, 7:15, roll call and covenant service. On Thursday evening at 5:30 will be children's practice. Thursday evening, 5:30, practice for children, and at 7:30 will be senior choir practice. On Friday evening at 7:30 will be our youth service, and Saturday morning at 6:30 a.m. will be our prayer service. Next Sunday at 9 a.m. is our Sunday school, worship where we will have our communion will be served as well. And at 6:30 will be our evening's worship. Our barbecue, which was supposed to be this Friday, has been postponed, and it will now come off on the 6th of September. That's the first Friday in September, starting at 6 p.m. And our annual rally comes off on the 22nd to the 27th of September. So please keep all these notices in mind. Thank you for listening, and I turn the rest of the service into the hands of our sister-in-law. Our sister Sonia-in-law will come to you at this time.
Good evening to the church, and welcome to our second of part 2 session of our wellness program. Here to present us with 2 topics are Ms. Tracy Beckles. She is an RN, and she recently completed her BS at BCC, and she graduated with second-class honors. Please give. Our nutritionist is known to us, Kimberly Rather. She was here with the youth group some time ago, so she is no stranger. And unfortunately, the mental health person, Miss Marjorie Payne, she's saying her apologies. Her home was broken into yesterday, and she's under stress. And she is a public health nurse, so she is on emergency call. So she will not be here, but she said she will be able to come at any other time we wanted her to. So here we have presenting diabetes and hypertension, which is very prevalent in our community. Ms. Tracy Beckles, she will tell you.
Good evening to the church and the members. I am Tracy Beckles. I'm a registered nurse, as Sister Law said. I'm going to be presenting or having a chat. I call it a chat. I don't call it a presentation because we are going to be talking about diabetes and high blood pressure or hypertension. Please feel free to interrupt, to chat. This is not a lecture. Okay, if you have questions and you don't understand, feel free to interrupt me. I am willing to answer, and if I can't, I will make sure I send the answer to my sister. Okay? Okay, so this evening, a couple of objectives that I would like us to get through. At the end of today, you should know what non-communicable diseases are. We're going to focus on diabetes and hypertension, and you should be able to leave here with information about that, knowing the symptoms, complications, and management of such. Okay, so non-communicable diseases is a group of diseases that's not transferable from one person to another. Meaning it's not like STIs, where if, depending on what the STI is, I touch you, you can get it, or we have sexual intercourse, you can get it. Everybody develops it, or people develop it on their own. It's not transferred from one So a couple of these examples are chronic kidney disease, cancers, various forms of cancers, and you, along with that, you have diabetes and you have hypertension. Now, diabetes is also called diabetes mellitus. You will hear people calling it sugar. The older folk will say, oh, I have the sugar. And you will also hear it called diabetes by itself. But the medical terminology is diabetes mellitus. Hypertension is also known as pressure. You hear the older folks say that. You will hear high blood pressure, or as it's medically called, hypertension. So what is diabetes? Diabetes is a disease that occurs when your blood glucose, or what we call sugar, is too high for the blood. The blood glucose is too high. And glucose is our main source of energy. It comes from foods we eat, namely high carbohydrate foods, and the nutritionist Kimberly, she will go into all that with you. So it's something that can be avoided. Sometimes it can't be avoided, but it can be controlled. Alright? You hear the word insulin. Now, diabetes is controlled or can be controlled by insulin. But sometimes one of the reasons why you have the diabetes, and you will see further in the slides, is that insulin, which is a hormone that controls, is produced by the pancreas that controls and breaks down the sugars in the blood to transfer it to the organs. Sometimes it's absent, sometimes it's less, or sometimes it's there and it's not working at all. Right? So as you see there, sometimes it's too little insulin, no insulin, or sometimes when the insulin is there, it's not working as it should. There are 4 different types. Well, a couple of years ago there were only 3, but now we have 4. Most females will know about the gestational diabetes, which occurs in pregnancy. Sometimes it's picked up in the first trimester, sometimes it's picked up later. It disappears when the baby is born at childbirth, and sometimes because of, depending on how bad it is during the pregnancy, the mother or the child can continue on to develop type 2 diabetes. Pre-diabetes, this is new. You will hear before people say, okay, well, we've gone from being non-diabetic to be diabetic, and there's no break, no in between. But now we've got a pre-diabetic screening where they measure your HbA1cs and they measure your blood glucose on a regular basis. And if it is within the borderline range where they're keeping an extra eye on you to see if you can develop diabetes, especially if you've got predisposing factors like if your parents were diabetic, or if all of a sudden your pancreas, they realize that it's not working how it should be, then you'll become diabetic. So the pre-diabetic, and that normally goes through to type 2 diabetes. Then you've got the type 1 diabetes, which we call, or which is known as juvenile diabetes, early onset diabetes, childhood diabetes, or insulin-dependent diabetes. This type of diabetes is, well, now we are seeing it in a lot more children than we were before. And we've got a lot of teenagers who actually have to have insulin infusion pumps as they go to school every day. And they can teach you more about insulin than the nurses can teach them about insulin. So most of our teenagers these days we are seeing with the diabetes. Before, we don't know if it was a matter that they had the diabetes, but we only picked it up as they became adults. But technology is improving, so maybe it is that might have been the case. But now we have a lot more children as young as 8 years old, 7 years old, who can tell you about insulin and who know how to calculate the carbohydrate count, who know how to deliver their own insulin. So most of these, this is the most serious type of diabetes because no insulin is being produced. So if at 18 or maybe 15, if your hormones raging and you're taking, say, maybe 20 units of insulin, by the time you become an adult and become pregnant, for the young ladies, they're taking more. They have to be extra careful to calculate their calorie intake on a regular basis. And they have to take lifelong insulin. The insulin is their life, so it becomes like beer. Then we have the type 2 diabetes, which is also known as non-insulin dependent diabetes, are adult onset diabetes. Now this is what we used to see before, a lot of. You know, they say, oh, they changed your life and I got diabetes. But basically you had diabetes before, but now the symptoms are really improving and increasing, and it's telling on you, so then you really, you know, and then when you start the diagnosis of the diabetes, you saw some people go straight on to insulin. Normally you start with exercise, and then you build on to the oral medication, which is the tablets, and then you get the insulin. But sometimes because your sugars are so high and we already start seeing the complications of the diabetes, you have to go straight on to insulin. So you've probably had it longer than you know, and you put it down. Well, I'm passing water extremely more because we're staying hot, so I'm drinking more water. But in truth and in fact, you should be tested to see if you could be pre-diabetic. Okay? So this slide is pretty small. Basically, it's telling you the symptoms of diabetes. With pre-diabetes, there are no symptoms. It's just basically you go, you get tested and checked every year for your annual checkup. And they keep an eye on your blood test, they keep an eye on your results. Just okay, well last year when you came, your HbA1c was 2, now it's 3, we're going to keep an x-ray on that. Come back in 6 months. The HbA1c is a blood test that tells us what your blood sugars have been on average within 3 months, the last 3 months. Right now is what we use to basically give a better idea and a better picture of what your blood sugars are. It's more in depth than a finger prick when you come. Because normally what you would hear is, well, come fasted to the lab or come to my doctor's office and don't have anything to eat since last night. And they will do a fasting blood sugar. Well, non-fasting blood sugars give us an idea, okay, so maybe we need to keep an eye on this a little bit more or not. But with the HbA1c, we have an average of what your blood sugar has been throughout the last 3 months, which is a little bit more accurate to measure. But then we would advise you to go ahead and buy you don't buy the glucometer machine. You should get that free, and then you buy the strips. We would ask you, okay, well, take your blood sugar fasting after breakfast, after lunch, after supper, so we can have an idea of what it looks like, right? With the type 1 and type 2 diabetes, as I mentioned earlier, some of these symptoms are there's an increased thirst. So you could be in an air-conditioned room. I mean, air condition does dehydrate you, but then you realize you're drinking like 2 gallons of water on a day. I still feel thirsty. There's increased urine, so sometimes some people not drinking water, but they realize they go to the bathroom every 2 minutes or every half an hour. Excess sweating is one of the symptoms. Sometimes you feel so lethargic. You had 8 hours sleep last night, and you wake up and you feel as though, as some people would say, somebody beat you with a 2x4, piece of 2x4, you know, you ain't sleep yet. Weight loss is one of these symptoms as well. I had on this pants only last month, and now it feels as though it's dropping off me, but you know you're not exercising 5 days a week. You know you have not changed your diet, but you're losing weight, right? So all of these are signs that you should get tested. You should see a doctor. Because if left untreated, it could be more detrimental to your body. So complications of diabetes include, alright, so we're going to start at the top. It can affect your brain. Your brain needs glucose or sugar to actually function. If it is too high, it can function abnormally. You will find that you're forgetting things a lot more. You park the car straight ahead, and then when you go back, I don't know where I park it. So you find you lose your memory. It can affect your hearing, because don't forget that the blood sugar is being transferred to every organ in your body. And if it is too high, it can break down your cells. It's not going to be any good to the organs. It destroys your heart. So normally it goes hand in hand. Sometimes you can have one or the other. Sometimes it goes hand in hand with high blood pressure. And it can actually cause damage to the cells in the heart. The pancreas, we know, the fact that you have diabetes, it means something is actually wrong with the pancreas. But then eventually you'll realize that you don't have a pancreas anymore, and that's when you will be on full life insulin. It can destroy your skin. Some people can have peripheral arterial disease, where you find their feet are going black because of bad circulation. That's diabetes as well. You can have some people with the peripheral arterial disease without diabetes, but more than likely they end up having diabetes. It destroys your kidneys. You can end up with kidney failure. Most diabetics who do not take care of themselves and take the medication, alter the diet, they end up on hemodialysis or peritoneal dialysis. So it destroys your teeth. You lose your hearing. You get retinopathy, which is where your eyes now you start off with blurred vision and you lose your sight. Some people can lose their sight altogether. It has nothing to do with glaucoma nor cataract, right? So if left untreated and undiagnosed, technically you're walking time bomb road, right? So we advise that you get your test, even if it's just a finger prick to keep your eye on what your glucose is supposed to be. You can not have diabetes in 2019, but because you decided you want to eat ravenously because you were healthy for a whole year, then possibility are you can develop prediabetes. Okay? So we're now going to go on to hypertension, also known as high blood pressure or pressure. This is the constantly high force of your blood pushing against the walls of your vessels. Alright, so the average blood vessel, if everybody can picture what a dry macaroni looks like. See the hole in the macaroni? Picture that being your artery. Now, what happens is when the artery is patent or the blood vessels are patent meaning free, no blockages, no anything, the pressure is supposed to go through the macaroni and end up the other side. Now, when you have high blood pressure, the force that the blood is going to go through that little hole is going to be so much that it can burst the artery or the blood vessel. It can be so much that it builds up on the inside of the actual vessel, right? So high blood pressure can come as a result of high blood pressure, high blood salt, high blood volume of salt in your blood. Sometimes when you have blockages in the arteries and in the vessels, you can have high blood pressure because there's a little lump on the side of the macaroni and you don't care how much force you use to push, it's not getting down to the feet, it's not getting down to the other organs, so therefore you've got to be higher, right? So it is a dangerously high pressure on the vessels of the heart, of wherever, any blood vessel. Now, a lot of people think that, okay, well, I have high blood pressure, I'm going to get a headache, I'm going to feel flushed, I'm going to feel tired, I'm going to feel, but in all honesty, there are no symptoms of high blood pressure. Some I've nursed people whose blood pressure was 220 over 110 and they were walking normal. In the medical field, you should be on a bed trying to bring your blood pressure down, but because their body is so accustomed to that blood pressure, it has compensated to its normal. But another person now whose blood pressure gets as high as 150 over 80, they have a headache, they get blurred vision because that's not their normal blood pressure. The top number in the blood pressure is the force the blood goes in. So the heart opens and closes, opens and closes. So when it opens, that's when the blood is being released to the rest of the body. And when it's closed, is when it's returning back. If there's any blockage in any of the vessels, it can alter that constant flow. So if there's a blockage on the way down, the heart is going to have to work harder to push against the blockage to get it to the toes. If there's a blockage on the way up, the same thing has to happen. So therefore, the blood pressure is going to increase. Now, because there are no symptoms, this lady here might come and tell me, well, my normal blood pressure is 110 over 40 or 110 over 50. That's her normal. Another person who's come and tell me, well, their blood pressure is the same thing. They're collapsing because either it's too high or too low. So nobody has the same blood pressure. Nobody has a normal blood pressure. Everything is within their normal. So a guy who's outside doing labor work 5 days a week, eating maybe cream potato every day, maybe, or maybe he prepares his own meals and he eats it at work, I would expect his blood pressure to be a little on the maybe below 120 over 80, especially if he does not drink alcohol and if he does not smoke. Now, if you're sitting at home and you're watching TV and your blood pressure is like that, that's fine. But if I was to do his blood pressure and his blood pressure say was 140 over 90, I would ask him to repeat it when he's at home resting, doing nothing. A headache can increase your blood pressure. Constipation can increase your blood pressure. Sometimes the mere fact that you're thirsty, you have not had anything to drink all day and it's 4 o'clock in the evening, that can alter your blood pressure as well. If your kidneys are damaged, that can alter your blood pressure. That's why I say the diabetes and the hypertension sometimes go hand in hand, because when your kidneys have been damaged from the diabetes, it can affect your blood pressure. Okay? So there are no symptoms to say A, B, C, but you have to know your body. You have to know what is your normal to know when it is an abnormal. You understand? So again, the blood pressure machines are being sold. They're not cheap, but I tell people I prefer to spend $200 on a blood pressure machine than $250 at a doctor's office, and that's not even test yet, right? So prevention, I say, is always better than cure. Complications on hypertension, we can minimize it a bit. All right, so the top right hand, thank you, is stroke. That's one of the complications of high blood pressure. There are two different types of stroke. You can have a hemorrhagic stroke, where everybody will hear you say, well, there's a bleed in the brain. That's a stroke. Many people do not live after a bleed in the brain, but when they do, sometimes there are alterations in their body, the actual normal body. Then you have the ischemic stroke, where there's a blood clot that was released because of this high blood pressure that you're walking around with. You've got vision loss. So sometimes some people can know their blood pressure is high when they look in the mirror on mornings, getting ready for work or getting ready to leave home, and they realize one eye is full bloodshot red. Sometimes that's an indication, well, my blood pressure has to be high. You don't have a headache, but when you go to the doctor, they will tell you, okay, we need to admit you to just for a bit of observation. Again, the heart can be damaged. You can have heart attacks. Again, the kidneys can be damaged. Sexual dysfunction is one thing that men do not like to discuss with the ED, but it affects your blood pressure. The blood pressure affects your sexual function as well. And with the heart attack, you can have heart failure. With the heart failure, it just means your heart just stopped. It was working too hard, can't work anymore, it just stopped. Heart attack, there are different types you can have. Some people live to talk about it. Some people have to have extra surgery for it, but they live to talk about it, but not with the heart failure, because that's it. Right, so the management for these two conditions, and I call it the Life Simple 7, because it's not only to help with the diabetes and to help with the high blood pressure, but it's also to change, it's a whole lifestyle change altogether. So with the blood sugar, we want you to reduce your blood sugar. We want you to do your blood tests, finger pricks, know your numbers. Low blood sugars, we all know when we have low blood sugars. We all know when it's lunchtime and all of a sudden we feel to faint, we feel, okay, now it's time to eat. I just feel my blood sugar drop. So 1.7 to 3.9 is normally when we will tell you, okay, so have you had breakfast yet? Have you had lunch yet? No, okay, we need you to use something. Normally, if you're diabetic, 1.7, you're in a coma for some people. We call that hypoglycemia. 3.9 on average is what we would see in somebody who does not have diabetes, and we know you need to have something to eat. The too high would be above, that's in the red, you can't really see it, but above 13, 16, sometimes above 20. Again, because your body has compensated and been so accustomed to high blood sugars, sometimes you don't know you have high blood sugars either. The management of the blood pressure, again, is to know your numbers. We want you to get tested. Even if you buy the machine, you do your blood pressure when you're watching TV at night after work. You keep an eye on your numbers. The normal American Heart Association, about 2 years ago, they brought out a new protocol where the normal blood sugar is anything less than 130 and anything less than 80. Before that, the guidelines were a normal blood pressure is 120 over 80. But for some people, 120 over 80 was high for them. But then for some people, it was low. So the average is anything less than 130 over 80, we call normal now. If it is above that, we call it elevated. Then the above that, the orange, the pink, and well, the yellow, the orange, and the red is when we bring what we call urgent hypertension. You're not feeling any symptoms, but when we do it, we think that you're heading straight for a stroke, so we need to keep an eye on you in the hospital. Sometimes we give you, try to bring down your medication, your high blood pressure with medication, and we monitor it, and then from there, we ask you to watch what you eat. So along with those two, we have control your cholesterol, because most of the time when we hear high blood pressure, normally it comes with high cholesterol. High cholesterol is basically the high levels of fat intake or fat content in your blood system. 4, get active. So even if the recommended protocol is at least 30 minutes a day, I think it's 3 to 4 days a week. Just to keep active, just to keep the heart. Once your heart rate increases over your normal, so if your normal say 68, and you do 30 minutes of exercise, and everybody has a Fitbit these days. So when you see what your heart rate is, when you finish and it's like, or when you're actually doing it, it's say 80, 90, you've increased your heart rate. So that's good. It burns calories, it burns the cholesterol, some of it. So keep active, eat better is another one of them. Lose weight. Most of the times we find our type 2 diabetics are obese. So sometimes when you attack the weight gain, it can decrease your blood sugars, it can decrease your hypertension numbers. And if you're smoking, stop smoking. Not stop cold turkey, but you decrease until you eventually stop. Okay? And that's it. Any questions? White coat syndrome. Almost 90% of Asians have white coat syndrome. It's not only a Asian thing, I know. White coat syndrome, you will be doing your blood pressure at home. In the AM, it's normal, we will call 118 over 9, say 118 over 60. You do it just before you go to the doctor. But you know you have a 10 o'clock appointment with the doctor, right? You do it just before you leave home. And again, it was 116 over 70. But you go, you sit in the doctor's office, you anticipating what the doctor can tell you. By the time you sit down in the doctor's chair, your blood pressure is 170 over 90. You do not treat white coat syndrome. You should not treat white coat syndrome. But they're working on it where there's a new protocol. They're saying they should treat it. Because if you constantly shoot up in the air like that all the time, who's to say that one time when you shoot up in the air, it's going to come back down to normal? So they're starting to treat white coat syndrome, but it is a common thing. Even nurses and doctors, we get it. So it is something to watch. But what we tell you guys is if you know this happens to you, declare your hand first off to the nurse, if it is the nurse that does the blood pressure to begin with. Do your own readings at home and document it. So that we can say, okay, yeah, this will have to be white coat syndrome because you're getting 104 over 60, 110 over 55. But to today it is, you document that day as well. So that if you have to return back to the doctor, even if it's within 6 months to a year, compare it to what it was before. So it is something that is very real. It is something that can happen, and it's something that is very common. So if you are told you have white coat syndrome, you're not the only one. All right? Any other questions?
I'm not sure that I'm going to call these words right.
That's okay.
What is a myocardial infarction?
Myocardial infarction. That's just a long, drawn-out term for a heart attack. Yes. So remember I said in my presentation there are different types of heart attack. So you have anginal, which is where you just get the chest pains, especially we women, because of our lovely hormone called estrogen. We get a lot of chest pains after a certain age. Sometimes that can be just hormonal, but then when you have further tests, sometimes you will see that it is angina, which is we keep an extra eye on anginal pains. It means nothing is wrong with the heart, but because you're getting these symptoms, we keep an extra eye on you because it can lead to myocardial infarction. So myo means muscle, cardio is heart, infarction just means like an interruption. So if you can picture it, it's like if there is an interruption in the blood flow in the heart, the muscle of the heart, right? Sometimes it could be a blood clot. Sometimes it could be, well, you haven't heard of arteriosclerosis, where there's blood clot, blood fattening in the artery. So they will tell you your HDL, your cholesterol, HDL, your LDL, they're all high, you have to keep an eye on you. So a myocardial infarction is basically a heart attack, just one type of heart attack. So there are 4 chambers in the heart, right? So anything can happen in the 4 chambers in the heart, and there will be a different name for whatever the causation is, right?
Good evening.
Good evening.
In terms of diabetes, I believe that the primary treatment is always to control the sugar. Is anything done to cause the pancreas to function again?
Unfortunately, no. Because if there was, I'm sure the people on hemodialysis would want that cure for their kidneys. But unfortunately, no. That's why you hear people say you have one body, cure it. And sometimes when we see adults in like their early 50s, 60s, 70s, and we talk to them about what their childhood was like, it will blow your mind. Oh man, I went partying, I used to eat a lot of greasy foods, fried foods, but the damage is already done. We can't do anything, and I don't think anywhere, well, not in Barbados, you can get a pancreatic transplant. So unfortunately, no.
So you're saying that once the pancreas is damaged, it cannot be repaired?
No. You can try to slow down the damage from it being damaged further. So if you're diagnosed early and you're diabetic, maybe changing your lifestyle where your meals are prepared differently, you exercise more, you can slow down the process, but you cannot stop the process.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? You can always ask at the end of Kimberly's presentation as well.
I believe we had a great first session, and it was very educational to find out about diabetes and hypertension. And the questions were also interesting. I learned something. We are going to have offering collected at this time. Now we're going to sing number 41 from the youth books. Some glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Number 41, as we collect this evening's offering.
Okay, and the others are like, okay, so
nutrition as well as exercise is a key component. So again, invite everybody to stand now as we're waiting on technology. Just shake a leg. Just shake a leg. Simply down for about sitting for half an hour. So we can just twist and free up a little while. And then once the technology is ready, but exercise really is the key. We have to exercise every day to keep our body flowing. So whenever you can get in your little, it doesn't have to be anything rigorous or too rigorous, too overwhelming. You go for a little walk in the neighborhood or use your cans in the kitchen. Use your cans in the kitchen to do arm movements or squat in front of the news, what have you. All right? Okay, so we'll have a start. And really, what you eat in your diet most days is what is going to provide your nutrition. All right, so your nutrition really is one of the key factors to maintaining good health. And we want to eat a balanced diet, and as part of eating a balanced diet, we want to be aware and conscious of our portion sizes. So how much are we actually eating? We had one plate of Sunday lunch today or two. All right, and consuming a wide variety. So what are the types of foods that we're looking at? Are we just sticking to our carbs, or fried carbs, and our fried proteins, or fried meats, or are we eating a variety of foods, including our vegetables and stuff? So nutrition is really all about what we are eating, how much we are eating, and trying to balance it. Next slide, please. Good nutrition, eating nutritious, healthy food will provide us with the energy we need for our daily activities. So going to school for the young people, going to work, doing our household chores, whatever activities we have, we need energy from food, and this is really the fundamental reason why we eat food. And then put right in the building blocks we need for growth and maintenance. Don't think because you are mature that your bones and your muscle tissue are stagnant. These things are living, they are constantly recycling, and so the food that you eat helps to maintain them in a sturdy way. We also need to address our hydration. Outside is very hot, so in hot days, even if we are in the AC, we need to make sure that we are consuming adequate fluid to keep our bodies well hydrated, and obviously a hydrated body works better. And our food will provide our vitamins and minerals and healthy oils that we need. Okay? So when we talk about nutrients, we're really talking about the protein that we get from our foods, the carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and minerals. And some of these, most of these you would have heard of before. All right? So your protein is really your foods from animals. All right? So all the sardines, the tuna, the mackerel, the pork, the chicken, the cheese, eggs, milk. These are your foods from animals, and really these are your sources of protein. Your carbohydrates, and we're going to spend some time on carbohydrates today for the diabetics. Your carbohydrates are your staple foods. So the rice, the sweet potato, the cornmeal, flour, plantain, yam, macaroni, biscuits, cereals, these are all your carbohydrates. So most of the time in our average Bajan plate, typically what we have the most of is our carbohydrate. Not so? Alright, so especially for our diabetics now, if a person's looking to lose weight, it's the carbohydrate component that we're going to look to address. Fats are essential, but fats also should be used in moderation. So if you look at the yellow label on the wheel, you'll notice that fats is the smallest section of the plate, because really and truly we want to consume our fats in moderation. So things like cooking oil, things like cream cheese, margarine, lard, or shortening as we call it, you know, the silver velvet crisp. Yeah. These are found in pastries, and these are things that we want to minimize the use of. We've got healthy fats in season now. We've got avocado pear available. So make use of your avocado pear as a healthy fat. Obviously don't overdo it, but definitely minimize the more saturated fat. Garlic spreads and health spreads are fats that we want to definitely use in moderation. Your vitamins and minerals are going to come from your vegetables and your fruit. So we want to include these daily in our diet. Just take a snapshot, take a picture of what you had today, what you had yesterday, what you had Friday evening, and ask yourself, did I give myself enough vegetables? Now all foods, especially fruits and vegetables, or mainly the fruits and vegetables, and some of the whole grain, carbohydrates, and brown provisions will provide you with fiber. Okay, we need fiber in our body. Fiber helps us to move the waste along the intestine into the colon and let us pass waste as stool. So fiber is critical to maintaining health. And our water, of course, we want to use your water daily. All right, we can challenge ourselves to avoid our sweet drinks. Any sweet drink users in here? All right, challenge ourselves to avoid the sweet drinks and use a glass of water each and every time. Next slide. So your protein foods are your grow foods, and these are mainly responsible for providing amino acids which help with growth of muscle tissue. In mature persons, you're maintaining muscle tissue, so amino acids are required as well. If you get a cut, healing that injury will require some amino acids, so you get these from proteins. Also, the repair of muscle tissue, enzymes which help in digestion, and antibodies to fight infection. These are all derived from protein. So your proteins in your diet may be your fish, your eggs, your chicken, your pork, your lamb, what have you. Peas and beans are also a very healthy source of protein. So you can use your split peas, your lentil peas, your chana peas, your red kidney beans, and there's even butter beans. Anybody familiar with butter beans? The white ones? You can use these to improve the protein content of your meals and also as an alternative to meat. Next slide, please. So your carbohydrates now, these are your grow foods. These are your energy-rich foods. Very often when we are starting to feel lethargic, approaching lunchtime, we know we want to get some carbohydrates into our stomach. All right, they're very important. The carbohydrates are important because they provide fuel for the brain. Yeah, and your brain is the control tower of the body, so we need to provide fuel for the brain, and then the muscles get fuel as well. When you're exercising, you use up glycogen that's in your muscles. So you eat carbohydrates. Carbohydrates can be stored as glycogen in muscles, and then when you exercise, you're using up that glycogen in the muscle to exercise. But the warning is that excess carbohydrate, especially if you're not exercising, is stored as body fat. So when you're putting carbohydrate on your plate, my recommendation to you would be to, you kind of just visualize a quarter of your plate, right? Or your fist size. If you look at your fist, if you fold your fist like this, you look at your fist, this is your cup portion of carbohydrate. All right? So our fists will vary, but we know that there's approximately a cup portion, all right? So if you're using 2 fists as your carbohydrate portion on your plate, you know that you're really over more than a quarter of the plate. You're over more than a cup, and a cup is your serving size. So for the ladies, I would say between a fist and a fist and a half. For the gents, depending on how active you are, you will go between 1.5 to 2, depending on how active. But if you know you're not really active, then you're going to keep it down to 1.5 fist size. Okay? All right. So the warning is that I've got 2 things to tell you. I've got healthy carbohydrates or complex carbohydrates versus refined carbohydrates. So very often people will say, but I like a lot of breadfruit. Breadfruit is fine, breadfruit is healthy, okay? It's a complex carbohydrate, but it's a carbohydrate nonetheless. So once you consume it, it's going to be digested in your body, and your body is going to receive that infamous sugar. Okay, the same sugar that you need to control for your diabetes, that you need to control for your body weight, is the same sugar that is present in the breadfruit, in the yam, in the rice, okay? This is why portion sizes is so important. And this is why complex carbohydrates like brown foods and breadfruit rather than simple carbohydrates like macaroni pie and flour-made dumplings. Do you understand? So I'm saying that your complex carbs are the preferred carbs rather than the refined carbs made of white flour. White flour being macaroni, lasagna, pasta, as well as English potato chips. And also your portion size is the next thing you need to be aware of when you are serving your carbohydrates. You want to stick to a quarter of the plate carbohydrates. Okay? So we've got 2 tips there. Focus on complex carbs and brown provisions, from brown provisions and whole grains. Less white flour products. And be aware of your portion size. Because when these foods digest, although they give you energy, these are the foods that will raise your blood sugar level. And if you consume large portions of these frequently throughout the day, then this will lead to you not being able to control and manage your diabetes well. Okay? So I hope you see the connection between the carbohydrates being digested and raising your blood sugar. Next slide, please. So fats and oils are an essential nutrient in the diet and they should be consumed in moderation. We need fats to maintain our cells, we need fat to maintain our tissues, we need fat to manufacture hormones. So moderate amount of fat coming from natural sources like your nuts, like your avocado, like your fish, your sardines, your salmon that you may eat. These are the healthier fats. The less healthy fats are the unsaturated, are the saturated fats and the trans fats, which are the fats in margarines, the fats in lard, the fats in gravy, the fats in lamb stew and pork stew. You know when lamb stew cool, you get like the yellow or orange crust on the top, plus you know you are putting the mellow cream when you're cooking, alright? So you don't want to add your mellow cream when you're cooking the meats. Neither do you want to eat that fat. So ideally, if it is possible, if you cook that stew, allow it to cool and then skim off the hard yellow crust. That would be a healthier way to eat your lamb or eat your mutton if you want to enjoy these things. But be aware we don't see it when the food is hot, when the lamb stew is hot and it's nice and smells good. You don't see it, but when it's cool, it's that going in your stomach. Okay, so be aware of the types of fats you use, all right? Fat does serve a useful role. It's a secondary source of energy. But for the most part, we have adequate meals, and so we are not totally dependent on our fat stores, all right? Other additives to our meals that we use, I mentioned the mellow cream. Butter, I want to add there, garlic spread is one that comes up pretty often. Don't be fooled by the marketing. It's just a little bit of garlic relative to the fat content of what you are having. If you want a garlic flavor, cook your foods, chip up your garlic and put it in to what you're having, rather than depend on a garlic spread or a health spread. All right? Most of the spreads, they are primarily fat. Cream cheese is another one. The peanut butter, you can use peanut butter because you will get some protein from the peanut butter. Ideally, natural peanut butter, which is the one when you look at it in the store, is going to separate. You're going to see the oil settled on top and the peanut, rounded peanut at the bottom. All you do is you stir it up and use it. So that would actually be the healthier peanut butter to use. Salad dressings, cream cheese, even the vinaigrettes. I advise persons to enjoy the flavor of the vegetables as opposed to drowning your food with the salad dressings and salad creams. And tuna is another one. Very often we eat tuna, and everybody likes a tuna with a mayonnaise on it. But what we can do to try to reduce our mayonnaise is we cut back the mayonnaise and replace it with mustard. Okay, and mustard will give you the spreadability. Okay, mustard will give you the spreadability without the fat content of the mayonnaise. macaroni pie every week. And sometimes the children are buying macaroni in a portion size at school, and that's all they're eating for lunch. Alright? Again, high fat content. People will add margarine to the macaroni pie when they're making it, in addition to the cheese. Alright? And a refined carbohydrate. So diabetics, macaroni pie is really not one for you. Okay? So your unhealthy fats should be minimized in the diet. You want to avoid your fried chicken, your fried pork chop, fried baked goods. Now I put that container there to show you that if you're buying food on the road, this is one I want you to be aware of, especially hypertensive persons and everybody in general. That when you're buying food on the road, you cannot guarantee what persons are going to put in the food. They're not going to put low salt for you because they are cooking for the population, and nobody wants their food not to sell at the end of the day. Okay? You will be amazed when you start using salt at home that you can taste how salty the foods that are sold on the road is. So I really encourage you to try your best to plan ahead and prepare your meals at home. And then this container was here because of the yellow, you see the yellow-orange left back? That is fat. So imagine the fat that was on the food that has already gone into the stomach. Okay? So when you're eating from a container, you realize that that's what left back. You know how much has already gone down into your stomach. So be aware of buying foods on the road. I noticed too that the shepherd's pie now is one that they start to add a lot of cheese on top. So you don't have a dry surface to the shepherd's pie anymore. You have this oily surface. Be careful with it, okay? Be careful with the soup. The soup that has the yellow oil swimming on top, you really want to skim off that oil, or really ideally cook a home cooked soup where you can trim off the fat off of the chicken and you can control how much fat is in here. Alright? So be aware. You know, you might think a soup is something healthy to have for lunch, but be aware of the fat content. So your vitamins are required daily. They're essential for normal and healthy body function. They help us to release energy from food. So you get your vitamin B from your meats. You get your vitamin C and your vitamin A from your orange vegetables, and your green leafy vegetables will provide your minerals. Also, the vitamins help with growth and maintenance, antioxidants, and they help us to fight infection. And then another mineral, in addition to the vitamins, I want you to be conscious about your minerals as well, because minerals help us to be healthy and to obtain all the nutrients we need from our food. So things like iron help us to maintain blood health. Remember, blood is your lifeline. When your blood is not healthy, what happens to the rest of the body? Okay? So a healthy blood is critical. Iron is coming from your green leafy vegetables especially, so make use of your Chinese cabbage, your regular cabbage, your spinach, your kale. Do make use of the green leafy vegetables as far as possible. And we know that blood also helps with oxygen transport and preventing anemia. Anemia is an illness in women where their blood count, the iron count is not strong enough or high enough. And we know of calcium for maintaining strong bones and teeth, and calcium is involved in nerve transmission as well. So you use your broccoli is a good vegetable source of calcium, but also your milk and your dairy products will help give you some calcium to maintain strong bones. As I mentioned before, your bones are a living tissue and they're regenerating, and even at a mature age, you need to maintain bone structure and bone health, so calcium is an important part of the diet. Go ahead. Fiber provides the roughage in the diet, need to stimulate daily bowel movement and avoid constipation. Do monitor how you are passing stool. Alright, you're eating food, some of us 3 times a day, some of us more than that, some of us less than that, but importantly, we need to be passing out what we're consuming. If you ever think of it in a day, how much food you eat in a day, you need to look back and see what you're passing out. And is it relative? Is it enough relative to what you have consumed? Difficulty with passing through can be that you're not having enough fiber, so not enough vegetables in the meal, or not enough water, because hydration also affects constipation in terms of dietary causes, right? So water is an absolutely essential component of the diet and must be consumed every day, all right? You wake up in the morning, you start with your water. I do encourage you to walk with a water bottle, because if you have the water bottle on you, you're likely to drink more water than if you don't have the bottle, all right? You can flavor your water with a little cinnamon stick. If you don't fancy the taste of plain water, you can put in a bit of cucumber, like a couple chunks of cucumber. You can put in a couple cubes of watermelon. These can be used to flavor water. Don't depend on the flavored water products though, because although they tell you no sugar added, I do advise patients not to partake in the flavored water. Use plain water or flavor it with the natural products that you can use. All right? So carry your water bottle and definitely sip it during the course of the day. Now, some beverages are made with added sugar and other ingredients, which really add to the total number of calories. So the ingredients not only add to the sugar content, but they add to the fat content. So be aware of your shakes. So you've got the cookies and cream shake, you've got the Oreo split shake. Do be cautious of these shakes because they're very high in calories and fat and sugar, all right? All the things like the whipped creams and the chocolate chip, the chocolate syrup and the strawberry syrup, added sugar. Another one that is common is the Swiss Miss. A lot of persons like Swiss Miss either early in the morning or late at night. Do remember that the Swiss Miss is not the cocoa of old time that is going to give you a good bitter chocolate drink. The Swiss Miss is full of a lot of sugar, so be mindful when you're using Swiss Miss. I suggest the alternative is you get a cocoa and then you can control how much sugar you are adding to your beverage, okay? If you're taking lunch out to work, you want to try to use a high fiber whole grain meals. So if you're choosing cereals, you use a whole grain cereal, and usually on the label they have like this little leaf to suggest whole grain, or if you read the ingredients they will say a whole grain. In terms of like oats, you can use the old-fashioned oats. So when you shake the can, you will realize that they make a lot more noise than the flake. Or if you look into the bag, the whole oat, that you actually see a full circle, that will give you more fiber than the flakes. Alright, so I do encourage persons to make use of old-fashioned oats to increase the fiber content. And you will be familiar with your things like your linseed, your barley, your flax seeds, etc., pumpkin seeds, etc. Whole wheat bread as well, and whole grain crackers. I want to caution you about, there's a new multigrain cracker on the market, okay? For the hypertensive people, please be aware of the salt content, okay? So it's really exciting to see, oh, multigrain, yes, let me pick this up. Bermuda wheat crisp is another one that you guys like. All right, let me pick this up. It's wheat, it's whole wheat, it's healthy, or it's bran, it's healthy. The salt content on these things. Do you know that the multigrain salt content is actually higher than Eclipse? All right? So don't be fooled by the marketing. It's the same thing with garlic spread. It sounds healthy, but is it really healthy? So do be wary of what you use, okay? Just to finish up the lunch. Yeah, so make an effort to have your fruit prepared for lunch. Use your water. Again, you can flavor it with different fruits. Reduce your use of mayonnaise and creams. Avoid purchasing greasy foods. If you do have to buy food, try to use stewed or grilled or baked options, and avoid the icing. So I know sometimes persons have the van that come at 10 o'clock or the van that comes at 3 o'clock, the pastry van at 3, and your colleague, oh, is all excited the van come, but try to tell your colleague that you are living a healthy life and you want to avoid your iced products, your glazed products. The swirls and the buns, they're all made of margarine, they're all made of shortening. These are the fats that contribute to arteries becoming blocked and contribute to our unwellness, all right? Lentil patties, yes, this is one I have a beef with because again, the false advertising. People often feel a lentil patty is a savior, a saltfish patty is a savior. It is the same pastry that's in the chicken patty or the beef patty. And so this is the fat, this is the salt that you want to avoid, okay? So do be aware. Fruit is always a good quick snack. Yogurt, a low-fat yogurt is a good quick snack. Nuts are a good quick snack. These are the things you want to try to keep on hand. The granola bars can work, diabetics. Try to use just like a half. Don't use the whole one because it's still a heavy carbohydrate load. Remember, again, that the whole grain of the granola bar is fine, but then there is a lot of oil and sugar and honey added to the granola bar if you read the ingredients. So a snack just to hold you when you're on the road, but not to consume the whole thing at one time, especially for the diabetics. Go ahead. So I mentioned the snacks already. Next one. Right, and the more sweet foods you eat, the more sweet foods you will crave. Hence the reason I encourage you not to partake in the flavored waters. Use a plain water. And this is why I would encourage you not to go by the pastry van, all right? Stick with your fruit snacks so that you kind of wind back the desire that you have for something sweet, all right? And also the same thing with the salty foods, which will be significant for the hypertensive persons. The more salty foods you eat, you're going to feed your taste buds that salt, and the more salty foods you're going to crave or desire. Go ahead. So in terms of managing your non-communicable diseases, managing your diabetes, managing your hypertension, managing your heart health, I want to encourage you to plan your meals to avoid purchasing food on the road. So as far as possible, Sunday, you might bake a little extra. You might bake a sweet potato in the oven. I like to encourage persons to bake their plantain so that Monday morning you won't wake up and do fried plantain. All right, you just have to head and tail the plantain, take off half the skin, and you bake the plantain. It's really just as nice as fried plantain. We can also bake our breadfruit. You cut an X in the bottom and an X in the top. That will allow the steam to come out, and then you can slice the breadfruit to replace your bread or biscuits in the morning. Okay, same thing with the sweet potato. You can bake the sweet potato when the oven is on Sunday, and then you cut slices in the morning for your breakfast as an alternative to using the flour products. Okay? Alright, so just trying to give you some alternative suggestions that you can use. Fruit is critical. Try to keep your fruit in the home, whatever fruits you like. Alright, I'm not going to tell you which specific fruits to use, but fruits that you like, fruits that you enjoy. Diabetics, of course, not more than a half cup of fruit at a time. Please don't have the pear, the apple, and the banana all together. All right, those are 3 fruits that can spread during the course of the day. They are healthy, but the carbohydrate content that they have, it will push your blood sugar higher than you want it to be. So do have your fruit. Fruit are a critical part of maintaining the health, all right? But for the diabetics, you're not going to have large portions of fruit at a time. A half cup to a cup at any given time, okay? Your vegetables should make up half of the plate. Do bulk up the plate, half of the plate with your green leafy vegetables, your spinach, your kale, and then incorporate the other things. All right, so half of the plate, yes. Not the little tablespoon in the little corner of the white box. All right, you want to make an effort to put more than that tablespoon on your plate. Avoid the fried foods, avoid the mayonnaise, avoid the sweet drinks, all right? If you know that you are a person who has like 4 sweet drinks in a week, do start to be conscious about cutting that sweet drink back. If your children are using sweet drinks, do make an effort to minimize how much are available inside the home and to discourage them from using them, just drinking them like that. Because what happens is we're drinking a drink and we don't consider that we're having like 5 teaspoons of sugar inside the beverage. When you see the beverage, 40 grams of sugar, you've got like 5 teaspoons in here, okay? So Maxi, Turbo, Tang, the syrups, all right? If you want a little flavor, I understand that you're gonna want a little flavor now and then, but make it bingey, washy, as we call it, but not a rich, sweet syrup. You can't, well, not you can't, but it's not healthy to have a sweet syrupy drink every day, okay? It just doesn't add up, because then you're gonna have to be buying insulin strips and buying medication and seeing a doctor, etc., that you don't want. So it's just a little bit of self-discipline to be moderate about you doing it. If you know that you have 3 sweet drinks a day, or sweetened drinks, not necessarily sodas, but you try to be conscious and gradually bring it down to none at all. All right? Go ahead. So remember, your nutrition, what you eat, what you drink is really what you're doing for your own good. All right? You will look good, you will feel good about yourself. Definitely eating healthy will help you to manage any existing health conditions. And in terms of long term, why young people want to eat healthy is because you want to reduce the chances of you developing any non-communicable disease in your lifetime. And obviously you want to be the best you. All right, so I encourage you to make those healthy options as far as possible. And each and every day, just do a little bit. You don't have to be overwhelmed, but just be conscious and each and every day try to do your best and try to make the right choices. All right? So I open the floor for questions.
I was told I want to use half a banana. Use the microphone. I was told to only use a half a banana a day. Well, so if I use a whole banana, what would be the damage?
So the thing is the carbohydrate load of the banana. The carbohydrate load of the banana is what's going to trigger you off. Also the mineral content of the banana in terms of the sodium and potassium that's in the banana. Okay? So that's why the recommendation would be for half. You can always put that half in the fridge, come back later and eat it, or you can blend the other half in a drink. But it's because of the carbohydrate load, they don't want you to have the whole banana.
Okay.
Tell me the challenge.
No,
You think you're wasting your banana?
No, I just do what they say. I just started to use a half.
Yeah.
No. Diabetic and high blood pressure. I had high blood pressure now, fighting high blood pressure now for about 40 years. I happens to keep it at a manageable level. Once off, twice off. Sometimes it goes up. When it goes up, I try to get it back. I have the machines and everything. I take my own blood pressure, my own blood sugar, right? And my blood pressure, I say over 40 years. I was going with, I think I did that. Sugar now, I had sugar now about 15 years. And I just managed to keep my sugar at between 7.1 and 7.3.
That's after meal or before meal?
That's before me.
So you're going to do it after?
Sometimes I do it after, right? But one morning I went to the doctor, it was 7. I had breakfast, I went to the doctor, when I get there, it was 11.
Correct. That's why I was asking you what it was after.
But by 11 o'clock it was back down.
Correct, but it shouldn't have you're on tablets only. Then right from the metformin,
Yeah.
60 or how many metformin 2 times a day?
Yeah. And I meant for take my tablets.
Maybe you had a high carbohydrate breakfast that day. Because the carbohydrate is not only the ham cutter, the egg cutter, it's what you drink as well. So if you had this with Smith's, or did you have similar tea? Did you have daily tea?
No, first thing, I use a cup of coffee. I don't use sugar. I don't use any sugar in it. Right?
Milk?
Yes. Yes. I use milk.
Try drinking it black, but I would like you to try not drinking it, because coffee plus diabetes and high blood pressure is a no. Tea is caffeinated as well, but tea is not as caffeinated as coffee, right? So you will find even if you drink a Lipton tea and sometimes the decaf tea, you will find that your heart racing, it still has your caffeine.
But I don't coffee lover. I tell you true, I'm coffee lover.
How many cups you have a day?
2. 1 morning, 1 at night.
Try start increasing to the 1 November. And then see what it is like. Because you're bringing the calories from the night as well to the morning when you do fasting, blood sugar. So even though you say you are hungry, I get up and I did my fasting, blood sugar is going to read high. If your fasting reads high or the upper end of normal for fasting, it will read high depending on what you have for breakfast.
Normal salmon?
Well, that's the upper end. You could get the levels printed on the thing. So 7 is the upper end of normal. So if you start at the upper end of normal, when you eat your breakfast or your meal,
So you saying I'm saying I'm on the 5
well, but that's idea, but from 7 to 5 is kind of like telling you cut out the coffee altogether and maybe have a high protein breakfast with a cup of leaf tea. And you don't even do that. No, if you are a coffee lover, you're not going to stop cold turkey to drink leaf tea.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do that. I
It's
have
the law
a
of
very
people.
strong I have a very strong willpower. Anything I want to do. And barely, I always keep barely. I can have barely.
Very well. You should put the sugar in anything you have.
Don't.
Okay? Try it and see.
Don't eat ice cream, don't eat chocolate, don't eat nothing.
You see, but that's the thing. A lot of people think, as the nutritionist said, that the sugar is the sweet things we eat. It is not only the sweet things we eat. People will say, well, I had a spoon. It had enough sugar, but if it's very flour, it's carbohydrates. And then when you put raisins in it because it's natural sugar, blood sugar is high.
Raisin?
Yeah.
Love raisin.
But just to make sure that the point is not to eliminate the carbohydrates completely, but to be very aware of the role of carbohydrates in controlling your blood sugar level. All right?
You did know what you did done.
Yes, good evening again. First, I must say I think that something like this came up. Or sometimes you know that people don't have to, and the kind of work I do it with So it's like, I'm not enjoying this. Or we talk about that.
Yeah, we are.
So you're eating on the road a lot.
Not eating alone, actually. I think, the thing I want to there from tomorrow, because I came yesterday, and I get there, and I heard that my weight is too much for my health. It's just too long. know, and I said, what needed to be done? So I said, from tomorrow, I'll start with that. But I think my problem is that by on the road, I leave home early. Yes, I'm when I come home, it's delayed. So if whenever you ask me, when I get home, no, I still don't want something to eat. But I end up eating heavy on the night and then midnight. I know that is a problem. So as I told you, from tomorrow I would like to do something with it.
Yes.
So,
I would suggest trying to plan your day in a way that you can have that heavier meal. It would be at a time when you're away from home, but that would be preferable to try to get that heavier meal when you're away from home, so that when you come in, although it's late, you would be having something light then, and maybe something with a greater protein content as opposed to a high carbohydrate content. So I'm saying that you might have like chicken and salad, chicken and tossed salad, or fish with steamed veg, all right? Where the focus is mainly on having protein, which is food from animal, and vegetables, as opposed to a heavy carbohydrate. Not that you come and want to eat a plate of chicken, macaroni pie, potato salad. You understand me? Something lighter in the night time. Also, you can use a liquid meal, which would be something like Alaska with oats in there, like 3 tablespoons of oats in Alaska, all right? And, or it could be, you know the sea moss, there's a sea moss punch. It's not milk-based, it's soy-based. It's sold in the gas stations in a glass bottle.
know what you mean.
That's actually a pretty good drink. It's a meal replacement, it's a meal. Now the thing is that you got to switch off your mind. Because psychologically, when we get home, we want something to eat, to bite down. It's a psychological thing. Alright? So you have to start to get into the routine of just having something light at night and having that heavy meal on the road. And do you have like a flask that you keep in your van with the food or anything?
I have a fast, I need to get one.
I would recommend that in terms of you trying to control what you're eating to lose weight and still manage your up and down on the road with not a scheduled time. I would say try to make the meals at home and bring it in the flask so at a convenient hour you have something nutritious rather than have to go to the.
You see the thing about it that I tried this when my wife was preparing this food, but sometimes like when I get home and she just got a small amount, and says, a little piece more. So I didn't need, right? But I think that you know what is the problem, and you know what can happen if you don't control it. And I'm aging, you know.
And just to add, do you use sweet drinks on the road?
No.
What about energy drinks?
Energy drinks, yeah.
Powerade,
Sometimes
the Monsters.
Turbo.
Right, these are the things, the kick, these are the things you gotta be aware of, alright? So you're sipping them and you think it's just a
I
drink.
do not water. Not water.
The drink level determine
Just leave them.
any energy drinks.
Because they're gonna run you in like 190, 210 calories as you're talking energy drink. Which means that you're drinking something, you're not realizing that you're getting a lot of calories in there. You say, well, I don't need to play the food today, but I have 2 pieces or whatever. Alright, so it adds up, the caloric content adds up.
And to add to nutritionists, know from the medical point of view, I said, okay, Zara, because the mentality of the Zara, even if you're now in or not, is the hustle, right? And you don't want us to be, you don't want us to buy, you know, but you ain't moving from this city because you like this position you in, and you gotta be man, Z1, ZM, ZR, whatever behind you, so you're in for the whole trip.
Guilty.
You're damaging your kidneys, and because you're not drinking enough water, and you're gonna be drinking the turbo and the other energy drinks. I tell my patients stay far from energy drinks. If you have too many energy drinks a day, because I know one young guy, he was drinking get on the hustle. But it almost gave him a heart attack. Because when your heart rate is increasing, you're going to think, oh, it's just the adrenaline, but it is dangerously increasing and you're damaging the heart. You're mashing up the kidneys because you admit you probably pass for a walk in the morning before you leave home, and then when you get home, you can't wait to get to your maybe walk twice a day?
Because it went to the shop,
So that's a short route.
I got point over the year from the shop. You know,
Holding your urine is not healthy,
I
especially
don't
for
do
men.
it like that more though.
Especially for men, because then you end up with urinary tract infections, you end up with kidney infections, and then eventually you're going to damage your kidneys. And when your kidneys are done or damaged, then you're going to deal with high blood pressure, and you don't want that. Right? Because what's going to happen is the medication will come on board, but because of the hustle, you're not going to do the medication and you're doing yourself more damage. Get out the van. If you know Constitution will got this new setup where you wait in the lane, walk. Don't just sit down in the van and creep all the way up to the top of the lane and all you do is sit down. I've nursed ZR drivers who had PEs. PEs is pulmonary embolism, where the blood clot shift and goes straight to the lungs or to the heart. It goes to the brain, you're done. Walk. It's the same advice that they will give you if you catch on a plane, if you're going to a long 8-hour flight. They will tell you get up and walk around in the plane or wear pressurized socks. Do that. It's just driving on the road, but all of this is prevention. Better than cure, because some of them ain't got no board. Right? So that's just an overall.
Well, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
We'll be hearing the results. Who's this one? Yeah, yes, I mean, cool.
Yes.
You know, it might not matter.
Correct.
But thanks a lot for
You're
that.
welcome.
I can't mention enough that exercise is key, ladies and gentlemen. Exercise is key. We really got to put it into our routine to try to exercise each and every day. All right, the recommendation, our recommendation is 30 minutes a day, each and every day.
And you don't have to join Surfside. If you're accustomed to getting in the ZR van from town and you live in this area, get off by the sinking. I don't know Bush Hall, I go to sinking, they come through to come straight. Get off there and walk. Sorry, we don't want to put you on the work, I'm sorry. But if you find, like, even when you go to town, get off by the park and do the journey through St. Michael's Road and then go into town. Little things.
For the ladies, when you shopping in the park, at the far park, or the car park, or walk to the supermarket, rather than look for the closest spot next to the wheelchair person to park, just to walk 2 steps. Little things make a difference.
Every can say every more thing that this fucking atmosphere did, people else here. A lot of people walking.
I've seen a lot more riding as well. That is true. That is very true. It does get all in the car.
Can drinking plenty cups of coffee cause your blood pressure to go up?
Yes, please. Not only your blood pressure, your heart rate, and caffeine can damage the vessels as well. So what do you call lots of coffee?
Sometimes 3 cups a day.
What size cup do you call it? How strong you making it?
A teaspoon.
A heaping teaspoon to a teacup.
To make it bitter.
But to you it's not going to be bitter enough because you're accustomed to a teaspoon. So your teaspoon might be fine for you, but for Mr. Coffee Man here, it might be weak. Or so it will be weak, a teaspoon. I would say cut back. Because the buildup of caffeine in the blood, you can find stopping it or cutting back is going to be a problem with the entry withdrawals. And they're not nice. Then you will find that you start getting pains, depending on how strong your coffee is. You will start getting pains, and I think that that's probably why they told you half a banana. I think I'm more sure that's probably one of the reasons half a banana. But you will start getting, especially we women, we get a lot of chest pains. Sometimes you put it down to air, sometimes you put it down to eating late, sometimes you put it down to whatever reason, but sometimes it is a warning sign. So I would advise you to cut back. If you are accustomed to 5, cut out 1 and then see how you go. Because the time to stop cold turkey is going to put you over the edge. But 5 cups of coffee is too much. 3 is you like 5. Really 2. But 2 very strong. It has nothing to do with sleeping well. It has to do with your heart. The long-term damage to your heart.
I'll give you a beverage to try other than coffee. It won't give you the same pet as coffee, but it will be something that you can work on and nurse. Try some turmeric tea. Alright? Now it looks yellow and you kind of get that reaction, yes, but when you actually taste it and you know it is something healthy for you, it's drinkable.
And turmeric has a lot of, it's not going to
I'm not suggesting that it's anything near to coffee, but I'm suggesting to help wean you off the 3 cups of coffee per day. I like to give people a positive alternative. So try turmeric tea and start to incorporate that into your routine. You can, if you've got access to the fresh turmeric, you can steep your own tea, or you can use the one that is grounded, or there's tea bags as well. You can use it grounded. You can use it grounded.
You said earlier that instead of having like a slice of cake or whatever for bread, you should use fruit. I found that I used the fruit and I'm really hungry after.
So that's going to be your excuse to or donut.
Good night. Now I want to know, I love sweet potatoes. I'm not that. I'm still trying, I'm conversing with my doctor because I don't believe I am. But he's telling me, as long as I have taken that test and I'm just over the borderline, I am diabetic.
That's the HbA1c or
The blood test. Right. Because my sugar level is usually sometimes, I think the highest I've ever been is 6.
It is fasting or after meal?
After meal. And when I go to him, he's always tell me, "Ma, you're doing well," because it's 5 point something.
You're on medication?
Yes.
Wow.
I go to bed and one twice a day. Right.
That's just that.
And one for cigarette. Right? So that's what I use. But what I want to ask is about the sweet potato. I was told the carrot potato is better than the white potato. I want to know if that is true.
And which white potato? The white sweet
The
potato?
white sweet, more nice sweet potato.
The pink skin. Regular purple skin sweet potato.
No, they say the carrot, no, maybe the reddish one.
Carolina.
Yes, right.
Right. I don't say that there's any main difference. I don't say that there's any main difference. With the sweet potato, you're going to use your discretion in terms of portion size. That's the key thing. All right? You're not going to say, oh, this sweet potato, I'll get eat a whole bowl full. All right? For 6 portion, that's like your cup, you don't want to go over 1 to 1.5 grams, all right? And then that's your carbohydrate. You're not adding that with any other rice or any other yam. I like to highlight to people, you know, Thursday stew food, whenever I want piece of sweet potato, piece of yam, piece of dumpling, piece of cassava, piece of eddo. You can't have all 5 at the same time. Just fish size, 1 cup to 1.5 cup. That's your portion of carbohydrate for the one meal.
So you were telling me, I love a stew food. I love a stew food. I like my cassava, I like my sweet potato, and my breadfruit, my yam, and I love my dumplings.
That's 5 meals, 5 days.
With some cod fish.
So it's a message I give you.
Codfish and salt.
Saltfish.
We're just making sure that we're
Right? I'm telling you what I like. What I like to eat.
right.
Right?
Is that one plate,
It'll be a slice of, yes.
but it will come up to more than your fist and a half. So what I want to highlight to you is that even if you like the stew food, you take some and then have some later on in the day, you know what I mean? Rather than have all 5 of the carbohydrates at the same time. Because once people say a little piece, you don't got breadfruit in a little piece. Alright? Use 2 if you must. 1.5 cup, and then later in the day, your second meal, maybe you have another piece again, then you enjoy the rest of the stew. I know it is not the same, but these are the sacrifices that you have to make to manage your health. But when we have 5 different carbohydrates at the same time, you're sending your sugar level up once that complex carbohydrate is digested, and you're also contributing to maintaining a high body weight. And a high body weight is complications for managing the diabetes.
So then I can, instead of eating that combination of stew food, I can eat a good portion of cassava and done, right?
1.5 cup. The size, I want you to look at your face. It's the size of your
My
face.
face is very small.
I know that's small compared to your
I only
stew
eat
serving.
Well, the rice, I use a pot spoon of rice. That's what I eat. I don't eat more. And I usually eat from a saucer. I go and use a plate.
Are your vegetables on the plate?
Yes.
Make sure.
I love vegetables.
And it's like 1.5 cups, 2 cups? No. So that is what I want you to work on improving. That will help with long-term management. It's just the reality of it. You don't make a sacrifice, huh? When you're using your sweet potato, or you said you like sweet potato, I would encourage you to wash it and use it with the skin, because there's a lot of nutrition
Yes, I
in the
cook it
skin.
in the skin.
Alright, so you can eat that skin.
Eat the skin too?
Yes. You bake it, you can eat that skin, it's very nice. Also, you bake dry fruit, you can eat the baked dry fruit skin as well. There's a lot of nutrition in it. But it's really about using your discretion to control it.
Okay, another thing now. Another love that I have is nuts. Now, I was told that I should only eat 6 nuts. 6 nuts is nothing. Any type of nuts at a time, just 6.
16 peanuts, if that's what a serving is, that is just a little sinking in your palm of your hand. Which I know realistically that's not what people eat, but it's for you to be conscious of 16 peanuts versus a half bag. You know, people will weigh a bag of nuts and say, don't eat the whole bag of nuts, and they're saying to you, look, nuts is something healthy, yes, but nuts is something that has a fairly high fat content. So if you say,
the mixed nuts, like having cashew,
it's the same thing. It's like the stew
If they say lightly salted, I don't know.
and suppose you like to eat them at night,
No, then you get heartburn, what we call heartburn, indigestion.
but I don't get heartburn for nuts.
Oh, but you get it, right?
Yes, I do.
So it's not for you.
No, not in nuts. I can get it from if I eat English potatoes.
And
I don't like them. if I eat, there's something else. No, you talk about the coffee. No, I usually like to have a cup of coffee at night. That is not the one with the decaffeinated one, because the doctor told me I can use the decaffeinated one. So I usually drink a cup of coffee at night. I don't drink, sometimes not every night. I find now when I drink the tea, here lately I stopped drinking the tea because I find my stomach is not taking it. So I start drinking some boiled water on mornings, right? Because my stomach is not taking the tea anymore. So I know my body and I know when there's a change in it, so I then act to soup, right? Pork I don't eat because I used to eat it, but I find it's not digesting in my stomach, so I don't eat it. My husband is a porkaholic, so that's what I eat, right? But I find, and the doctor told me, if it's not digesting, don't eat it. So I don't eat. I find beef does the same thing. I can eat a little chicken, but I prefer, my children call me usually on Sunday, if I prefer to open a tin of sardine and put over my food, they don't like to see that.
Because it's not tradition.
Right? But that is what digests in my stomach. So I will eat it. I like a tuna, I will eat a tuna. I find that salmon, those things, so my stomach like, we salt fish. Right? Like that. But the beef and the pork and those sort of things, I find my stomach don't digest it, so I just keep away from it. Right? And sweet drinks, I was never a lover of sweet drinks. But I have a sweet tooth. And I had to curb that one. Every now and then I would still find myself eating a chocolate and I know I shouldn't be eating it. But you got to, my husband will stop buying these things for me to eat.
That's how much he loves you.
Right, so I tell him he's trying to get rid of me. So, you know, because if they're in the house, I tend to gravitate towards them.
Self-discipline.
You know, but if they're not there, then that's why I don't buy ice cream and put it in my fridge. Because I will eat it. I'm telling the truth. If the things are there, I will eat them. As long as it seems that my mind keep telling me all the time, I feel hungry all the time and don't know why. Because my body wants this thing. And like when as soon as I finish, they eat it, I feel good.
But you know you're bigger than your mind.
Yes, I know that.
And you know it's something called self-discipline.
Yes, I know that too.
That you probably instilled in your children, right?
Yeah, I know.
It's not going to do what I say, no. You have to be disciplined as well.
I know that. But that's what I'm doing, right? But sometimes you lost the battle.
How often?
Not very often. You lose the battle
Try
sometimes.
fighting someone. Because honestly, seeing these things and eating these things is only to your detriment.
Yes, I know.
So please.
I know.
I really don't want to be saying you on bed. God forbid the amputation.
No, I don't like to be there either.
Correct. So see and don't see.
Mhm.
Buy your own snacks.
Mhm.
So that when chocolate come in home, you eat something else.
Okay. I will do that. I will buy my nuts.
16 at a time. Just remember.
I will take it
Correct.
if they're 16, well,
16 or 6?
One
but if
six.
they're not 16, I feel good.
For me, right, I do not every day.
Not yet.
To the nutritionist. So of course the sweet potato to English potato, which you think is a better one?
Sweet potatoes have more flavor and more vitamins.
What I would like to know, why is it two people in the house eating the same food and one maintains Well, I'm probably not a good example because it took me some first time with a serious issue. I don't get fat. I can eat as much as I like. I can eat as much as I like because the body will jump at any time it's too much. But there are people who can eat a whole day and never put on anything. And there are some that ask them as soon as they look at food. You know, and I wonder if there's something we can do to control that people who have this eating habit. You know, people go as far as to get operations on the stomach, but mine was the emergency, so I mean it had to be done. But there are people who go and get the stomach reduced so it wouldn't be done. I feel that's wicked.
Anybody else?
It's a matter of genes, it's a matter of physical activity, you know, it's a matter of
And
metabolic.
So the smaller the meals, the more frequent the meals, the higher your metabolic rate becomes, especially if you're exercising. So, and then your makeup is not your wife's makeup, is not your son's makeup. So that plays a part in it as well. And age, yes. You know, the older we go over the hill, the slower everything happens. So a young person might bounce back and be more active. And then they say when you hit 40, you go over, you feel pains you never felt before. So you're going to decrease now the things that you were doing before. So.
But first I will ask a question for the online viewer. He was asking what are some of the benefits of turmeric tea?
Turmeric tea helps control cholesterol, control weight gain, sort of control your lipid profile, heart health, helps with cardiovascular health, that kind of thing. So it's all around health. Herb, just like garlic. Garlic is one of the promoting herbs, and ginger as well.
And they put a category of anti-inflammatories. So where you will have to take a transplant, the turmeric is a natural anti-inflammatory.
Well, 30 has become the new 40 because I call that sense that it's turned 30.
You feel like 40?
Let me just say that one time I was a person that could eat a big plate of food and nothing will happen or whatever. But I find nowadays, I find it difficult to want to like what should I really eat. You even spoke of food, which I'm afraid that something's in. But I'm having difficulty in terms of suddenly one that is actually blood or walk. But I'm getting so much pains in my chest area and so on. Even when I eat food sometimes, I don't know, start feeling bad. Food.
You seen about it?
Yes,
And
from all reports, everything is fine, but still.
So your body, our bodies change, I think it's every 5 to 7 years. Our bodies change. So you might have been able to tolerate, say, Panadols or paracetamols at 25, and especially if you've suffered with a lot of pain, you can probably take 5 doses of Panadol at 25. But then when you hit 30, you find you take Panadol and you feel upset. So your body, it can get accustomed to things, and it changes. So it does not have to wait for change in life to change every 5 to 7. So you might find you woke up and you had a routine for the last 5 years, and then the 6th year, it doesn't make any sense no more. You want to do something different or add something or subtract something. So maybe you need to listen to your body, and I tell people that, listen to your body. I might come and tell you, okay, cut up eating the apples, cut up eating the grapes, or try eating plums. But your body does not want plums either. That might be what I'm accustomed to doing. But you have to listen to your body. You have to try things and understand that your body changes. Everybody's body changes. You might be 120 for 20 years, 25 years, you did not have a child, but all of a sudden you put on 10 pounds and within a 5 years span, but that's not what you're accustomed to. So your body changes, just listen to your body. If it's telling you cut out things, if it's telling you to add things, decrease things, just listen to it.
The nutritionist, how many fruits should a 3-year-old digest during the day?
How many what?
Fruit.
Fruit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say if you eat fruit only, I would stop it. I would prefer to eat fruit than to be eating
Just snacks, yeah.
and
If
And
it's
like
cream,
snacks too.
no, it's better that you introduce into fruit, allow him to enjoy fruit rather than to use artificial snacks. Because once you introduce that taste, the sugar and the salt in packaged stuff, yeah, it's harder to wean back, which is a challenge we have here. You know, we're mature persons, because they've already developed that taste for sweet or salt, then they have a challenge later and they're trying to wean back the taste buds. So allow the child to eat. Don't force the child in terms of the amount. If you make it available in reasonable periods, breakfast, lunch, with this, not what have you, and they enjoy it, then that's fine. But I would feel free to offer it as opposed to a packaged snack. But don't force.
The nurse now. Okay, you guys, every child not tested for diabetes. Is there any signs that would show that it's going into that stage? Like passing
Into
water
what?
more regular
Diabetes?
than usual?
Diabetes?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it down to passing water. I would put it down to the weight of the child. So we are battling childhood obesity right now. And if you look at all of them, or any of them, they're very obese. Not overweight, obese, so obese is higher than overweight. So if you find a child could be active, not as active as he or she should be, but putting on weight, I would advise to have the child tested. You can't put it down to, because a child does not know how to hold his urine. So it will look as though he's going to the bathroom every minute. When we adults now, we can go through the whole day, say, look, I got this project to finish, I can go to the bathroom afterwards, and probably pass once or twice or 3 times within an 8-hour period. A child in an 8-hour period probably go 15 to 20 times, right? Or should go to at least 15 to 20 times. It's a boy or a girl? A boy. But if you're concerned with failure in testing,
Because we're serious about that, because this childhood obesity is a real thing now. We kind of think that culturally that, oh, the child, big boned, all right? But if the child is bigger than their peers, if the child has a distended abdomen that you know is a fat belly, then do the child the service of getting the check done and doing the necessary dietary and exercise within relation to that if it is.
because childhood obesity is just not fat. It affects the child in every sphere and on a long term. So if you are concerned, this is your granny or your mom or your neighbor.
Grand.
If you are concerned,
Yeah, fat.
if you are concerned, take him to be tested. It's better to be safe than sorry. Okay?
Yes, good night. I'm 59 years old. I just want to ask about these home remedies. You know, we grew up hearing about all these home remedies for everything challenges us, health-wise, especially with diabetes. I'm a diabetic, type 2, about 40 years. And I go to the park. Sometimes it was years when I used to see every single day exercise, ran, barefoot, and everything. And you hear you guys talk about something called GAP, which is garlic, aloe, parsley, the same turmeric, all these different things that we things that are going in Barbados, and they will give you everyone for everything on the send that heals you. I just want to know what is as a medical person, what about all these things that people are using for so many years? We need different momentumos. That's all it is.
So you want to know if they're good to use or what my opinion on it?
Yes.
Alright, so what we're talking about is what was homeopathic medicine. In reality, medicine and homeopathic medicine do not really be in the same realm. Me personally, I would say if you want to try it, try it. But I would not advise you to stop your meds. But if you try it with the meds, you might get an alternative reaction, if you understand it. You've been a diabetic for 40 years. You've been taking medication for how long? Maybe 35?
From day one.
From day one. So your body is accustomed to what you're taking. For me to tell you, and I will be very wrong to tell you, to stop and try these things, I cannot advise that. That would have to be your choice. And even if it is your choice, we wouldn't advise you to do that. Now, our grandparents and great-grandparents and people that live to 99 and 100 that don't have diabetes, high blood pressure, they can still walk, cook, and talk, and sit on a smile with their pajama, etc. They were using these things all their lives. You understand? If you sit down and listen to them, you will hear them say, never drink a coffee. Yeah, I don't drink sweet drinks. And they've never tasted the other side. So they are stronger and healthier than sometimes the 25-year-old, right? But with all the changing in society, the culture and everything, things have changed. Now, if a young boy is doing these things, you see you go to the hot, and everybody's probably early 50s, sometimes 40s. These probably people that never have been diagnosed with these things, and so they're taking it because they know it's still like the Looney Juice. Everybody went on the Looney Juice craze and challenge, and some people have fallen out, but you didn't know. You understand? The other one was the
Neem?
no, not neem, moringa, rat. Moringa was a big thing. I did moringa growing people buy yours for years, and nobody don't know moringa exists. But they make it in the 80s, and people dropping out because blood pressure dropping too low because they're not accustomed to it. The mixture, the combination is not, you know. So, but they just look for fat. You write it, and then they fall off, and they can tell you they fall off, you know, but they can tell you, man, it's good, man, and they fall off again. But what is for X might not be good for you. Okay? That's your personal choice, but I would say,
Okay. Thanks.
you're welcome.
Okay, like Sister Crystal was talking about the fruits and stuff like that. I also have the acid reflux, you know, with the fruits. But I realize now that for the past, I don't even know how long, I have this craving for ice. I must have ice all the time, all during the day, at night.
And last, did you go to your doctor? Do you get, does everyone here have yearly checkups with their doctors?
No.
Or they only go with a problem or a...
Yes.
Well, I'll say that y'all have to go every 3 months.
Only when a problem arises, and if it's really, really bad.
Well, I would advise you need to see your doctor, you need to get your blood tested.
I know that I'm anemic.
Okay, so you know you're anemic.
Yeah.
So you know that when your blood count is low, it could be, that is an indication. Do you know this?
Oh.
Do you know this? You're not answering me. Do you know this? Do you know? If it's no, it's no. If it's yes, it's yes.
Yes, I know that I have to get the iron tablet, but I prefer the ice.
But the ice is just water. The ice is not doing anything for you but telling you, ding, 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 something is wrong. The ice does not have anything. That's a symptom. That's telling you you need either to see the doctor to see how low it is, to see if they need to give you something extra. Because you want to try it?
Yes, I used to do training, but training is so big, you know, and it's
I wonder why you were break nice. I don't think I need to answer you. I think you get the answers without.
okay, so I need to go back.
If it is, I would like you to get tested to see how low it is. Because if it's, say, for a woman, it is supposed to be between, I think, up to 13. So if you crave it like this, it's probably 8 or 9. Eating leafy vegetables and stuff might not get you there in time, or might not get you there quick enough, let me say it. And they're going to put you on a training. Now, if you were constantly taking a training and you crave it nice, then it will say, okay, increase your spinach, your kale, but you're not taking a training. So you see, we come full circle.
Nice.
But the ice is just water, it's not doing anything for you, but hydrating you. It's not putting in what you're losing or what you have lost. And if your blood count, on a serious note now, if your blood count is too low, somebody will be picking you up from either a bus stop, from home, because you would have fainted and your blood count is too low. And then when you get to QEH, it will be blood transfusions, maybe 2 to 3, just to get you back where you need to be. So avoid the ice, see the doctor, see how low it is, and go from there. Okay? Okay.
Good evening. Before I ask the question, I'll make any comments. I just think I'm a very controversial person when it comes to the medical profession. Now, Barbados is soon about to, what should I put it? The whole thing about medical marijuana. All right? I have my views. I will express them right now. Right? But it's a global thing now. They say it has positive nutritional effects and advantages. What is your take on marijuana? The plant marijuana, not processed.
For the nutritional aspect of it, or the medical aspect of it, or both?
The nutritional and the medical. And I'm dealing with the plant, I'm not dealing with the processing it into tablets or whatever. And I'm talking about smoking marijuana, I'm talking about the same way you look at another plant and use it, right?
Well, for me, in my very safe stand or where I am, I really don't know much about it. I don't, because they're still debating it. So I personally don't know it all the time. Is why you hear the fellas talk on the block, and it might not even be that. So I personally cannot say yea or nay to it.
That was a good question. You challenged me. I would have to go and check it, but I can't speak to the nutritional value. If something like medical marijuana would be good in for iron content or what have you, I understand of the health benefits that they are touting. That's why it's going to be popular. That's what it's going to be used for. But in terms of dietary benefits, iron, minerals, antioxidant, perhaps the antioxidant content will be beneficial based on its healing abilities otherwise, but I couldn't comment further on dietary aspects of medical marijuana. I'll have to research it.
Okay, I don't have much time for the medical profession, but listen carefully. I have friends who are doctors and a couple who are specialists, right? And sometimes their view, based on their work, based on whatever, does not always sync with the general view. For example, sometimes boys were told that eating eggs is not good to use eggs. A specialist said to me, the others in the forum as well, absolutely nothing wrong with eating eggs, even if it's 3 or 4 you want to eat. Right? There's more nutritional value to the eating of eggs. We are also told that the problem today is not so much what we are eating, right? But how our body is reacting to stress. So sometimes we may think we're eating the correct things, but because of this stress, not eustress, because we have to have eustress to operate on a daily basis, but because of the distress, or the de-stress, right? It is negatively impacting our bodies. Things like hatred and things like bad attitudes and things like that can negatively impact our body, even though we think that we are using the correct things. Alright? Now, all my numbers are not boasting, but all my numbers so far have been good. Like I say, I don't have the time of day for doctor, but I go occasionally because people that love me want me to go on their channel. So I go. I have a conversation with the doctor. Thank you. But the thing that is coming across all the time is not only just what you eat. Another thing that they said to me, they have this ad about no salt. I gave it later, so I don't know if you were talking about it right. He said the salt of today, what we call table salt, has no nutritional value, has no value, or very little value, when you compare it to the salt of 40 or 50 years ago. And it was advised from them to use sea salt, or Himalayan salt, these salt. When it was white out of very looking salt, was very nutritious. So he said the salt we're getting today is no good, so you don't need to use it. But the whole thing about not using salt, he said a lot of people are coming up with hypertension because they're not using any salt whatsoever over a number of years. And he said the body needs salt. Body needs salt, body needs sugar. So I say, as a layman, everything in moderation. And, but it said, give it for nothing. But in everything with thanksgiving. Okay? So I make jokes about everything. I take life. I don't make fuss. And I believe that is why my numbers are good. Nobody has a perfect body, but my numbers are good. I use salt, I use sugar, I use everything on the big except the bread. I use everything, anything in moderation. Right? So I think it's not just a matter of eat this and don't eat this. It's a number of collaborative factors that impinge on us and in many cases make us ill. Sometimes we don't know why we're getting ill. We're told to eat fruits and veg, we do it. We're told don't eat this, we do it, but yet sometimes people that are vegans, they call them vegans, sometimes they don't reach 60, sometimes they don't reach 50. People who running up and down the road, it's a good thing to do exercise, but some of them are doing this and they fall in there. Right, so my thing about it, yes, it should eat well. But the big question always is, what is eating well?
But definitely, thank you very much for your contribution. You're entitled to have your opinion, and thanks very much for your contribution. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was nice to be here, and I will hope that you will take our advice and put what you can into practice, and we look forward to you taking care of yourselves as best as possible.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who have come to join with us as we were educated by our nutritionists and our RN. We want to say thank you very much for educating us a little bit more on our health cells from the missionary department and sharing the evangelical church as a token of our appreciation. Too small.
dismissal number will be number 34 in front of you, but each step I take, my Savior goes before me. Next time. And our deacon will dismiss us in a word of prayer at the end of this song. Each step I take, my Savior goes before me, and with his loving hand he leads the way. And with each breath I whisper, I adore thee. Oh, what joy to walk with him each day. Each step I take, I know that he will guide me to higher ground he ever leads me on. Until someday the last step will be taken. Each step I take just leads me closer home.
Before me.
that opens up the way, that will lead me to the promised land. So let's remember and ask God for his continued protection as this storm approaches.
Father Lord, we give you praise and thanks tonight for another opportunity, Lord God, to learn about ourselves and the two people, persons that came to educate us about ourselves. We hope, Lord, that we will take it in and do what they ask us to do and make a change in our life so it will help prolong our life a little longer. Father, we give you thanks for the praise and thanks for them. We ask your blessings upon them, and we ask, oh Lord, that you will give them the knowledge to continue to educate other people. Father, tonight we ask, oh Lord, that you will bless each and every one that is here, because we are about to sever one from another to take us home with peace and safety. And we have a storm that is coming, Father, Lord. But we don't be of Christians, don't worry. You know why? Because you are in this storm. And when you are in the ship, you just can command anything to go away. And we believe in you, oh God, and we believe with you at the heaven, we are saved. And we ask these blessings in Jesus' name.
Amen.
May the grace
of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the love of God, the sweet fellowship and communion of the Holy Spirit, rest and abide with us now and forevermore. Good night. Thank you for coming. The Lord bless you. Do have a blessed good night and enjoy the rest of your